I'm here with True, and I just found out he's the one that started the 3 Lakes deal with the Montezumas Treasure and everything down in Kanab area. So with that, True, take it.
Oh, golly, you know, where does this guy, everybody's saying, where does this guy come off of? No, it's part of my research into this whole access of the treasure. The Montezumas treasures came in, okay? And the history of, again, how 3 Lakes ties in to Johnson's Canyon. It's very much connected, okay, in my research. So I came and found out I had the lady that I had, she's passed away now, very gifted psychic. Back in the day, she was like, she'd go tell something was there, and away she goes. The connection to where I found the skeleton of the giant, okay, she was, again, on the top plateau where they had those burial chambers, you know, they came down. She picked up that ties in to, again, a water treasure, a water structure, okay, with the same red sandstone. And so we're driving back to Kanab and coming up, and she says, stop, this is it. This is where it's at. It's connected. She goes out and she says, there's Aztec warriors entombed in here. And it's entombed. There is an energy field that ties into the underground tunnel system. The underground tunnel system is accessed here at this point of this access of water. And then she says, all of these ancient treasure sites have ancient technology, water traps, including what we see at Crow Creek. Water is a key part of it. Why? Again, it's interdimensional. There's an interdimensional aspect to it. Why the water is so important. Well, I went, who owns this? She says, well, you should go contact the owner. This is something very significant in here. Not that it's really a treasure, but it's an entrance into a subterranean passage. It's an open entrance to it. And it's guarded by a massive force field.
And this is 3 Lakes.
3 Lakes.
The Branch Child's property.
Yes. Yes, right there off of 89, right off just north of Kanab. So I come in and I went down and did some homework as to who owns it. Brant was, he was great with, he could carve out, with his, he had a great excavation ability to come in and carve out rooms and things out of sandstone. In his house, he showed me how he built like a bunker right into the sandstone and all this, and showed me. And I said, well, Brant, here's what you got here according to this lady. And I got her on the phone. She says, yeah, you've got like 100 Aztec warriors entombed in there. And the energy field of their soul is part of this. It's like a sorcery. It's a sorcery field in there. And Brent is like, woo, 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 you know, not disbelieving. It says, well, this is kind of cool, but if anybody can get into it, I have the equipment to get into it, right? And he does. He has a tremendous ability to come out, and here's what happened with Brant. I said, well, let's hire a diver. Now, we never had an agreement. Anything was all just very loose. I'll see what we can do to get in there. The depth of the main pond is exactly right up on the base of the cliff is exactly 100 feet. It's like 100 feet is like the atmospheric pressure is such that it can be problematic, okay? Have you heard any of this at all before it was happened? The diver came, we contracted a diver, and we had it a little rowboat. Brad was on the shore where they had a little picnic table there, and I was out in the rowboat and feeding the line into the diver, who had it was like a pressure because it was 100 feet, he had to have the pressurized thing. It wasn't just a scuba diver going down. He was like a helmet on. He went down, it was bubbling up. He went down to the bottom, and sure enough, there was a tunnel going in, just like the gals told them to see what they would find. And it's been bored, it's carved. You can see it. So he enters in, it's enough, just enough for one, it's not really tight, it's plenty of room, but it goes in, and he comes in and it starts to curve. And then suddenly, there's some kind of like incredible silt that's stirred up. He's now horizontal, crawling into it. And he's telling me, it's like octopus ink starts to come. It's just like inky blackness. He can't see a thing with his lights. He can't see a thing, it's covering it. Okay? And then he says, and he starts to gasp and choke. And he says, am I getting air? I can't breathe. And the air compressor and all of the oxygen was flowing. So he backs out and he comes up, and he's got bruising around his, like somebody says, it felt like hands around his throat choking him. His lips, he was low in oxygen. He would never go, he didn't go back down for love or money. He wouldn't go back down in there for anything. He said in the entrance of the tunnel, he looked up before they got inky, there was carving inside the tunnel. And he drew it for us. Cross, and then a cross, a double T. Brad says, well, what does that mean? I says, well, this is really weird, guys. That's my family cattle brand registry. The double T, OTT, double T. It's on the brand registry. So I called the gal, Zena, she says, what does this mean? She says, that is your symbol. Only you, she says, only you have the genetic ability to get in there without being attacked. These are entities that attack the diver. You're not going to go in there. So Brad put up a little sign and hand wrote it out. It says, this is Montezuma's Treasure. It's guarded. There's Aztec people, entombed here. It's kind of like a tourist draw for people to drop off. Yep. Well, so Brad got thinking. He says, okay, well, 100 feet down going in, let's go from the backside. And so he owned the property going on the backside of the bluff. So he measured the same distance down, and he began, it was just, he set dynamite charges, blew the rock and cleaned it down. You go back in that property, you'll see him and I did that. We cut down into it and went down to the depth of where we figured it would be, so we'd come on a drift this way in, knowing we'd pop into the rock and drain the water out, get into it this way, and get in the tunnel system. Brad is now, if he was alive, he'd just tell you what, he says, I have never in all my life experienced what we experienced there. And this is true. We got down in the drift about 30, 40 feet going back in. And then he was drilling the core charges for the dynamite, he would dynamite little sections. He was an excavator. He knew how to make tunnels, okay, like mine tunnels. There was a point where this is soft sandstone. The claws were breaking off of, it was like it was hitting iron, like steel. Nothing could penetrate it. Even drilling those holes, he couldn't drill. It's like something was blocking. This is sandstone. He couldn't drill it in. So he put shallow charges, boom, nothing would fall off. It was like a force field blocking the access into that field from the backside. Yeah. That's where it ended. We didn't go any further. He says, we're not supposed to get into that. I have never seen it. He says, this was nothing. If you've seen his house, he's made this really nice, enclave back out. It's like that. He could do the same thing going down in at all planted, but there was a certain point where he could go no further. There was a force field. Couldn't go through that sandstone.
So and then Travis came later. You knew about Travis doing something?
No, I didn't. After Brad, I didn't know what happened after Brad. I came up here to Ogden in 2002. Moved up here, and this was all in the 90s when I was doing this with Brad. Yeah.
I'm gonna text the producer and tell him he's got to talk to you. Who are you?
I'm Sabrina.
From where?
Michigan.
Michigan?
Naomi Steelman from Michigan. Road tripping.
Hey, the Michigan girls. You might end up on YouTube.
Search for Terry Carter, treasure hunter. YouTube and Google.
Hey, you ain't searching for treasure here. You ain't trying to get my treasure, are you? You ain't cutting my... You guys ain't got the secret Spanish map to get the treasures, do you?
No, not at all.
They said the people would deny it, and you said not at all real quick.
I mean...
Hey, have a good one.
Hey, you too. Have a better one.
Wow, this goes quite a ways back here, doesn't it? That's pretty cool.